This time we're building a data analysis agent, and the agent is going to use a specific tool in Autohive, which is currently called code analysis. And in the description of the tool, it says that it can execute Python. That sounds scary, but it's just a useful and consistent way to do maths effectively. So the important takeaway is less about the actual use case. In this use case, I'm just going to build like a personal budgeting agent that can see a spreadsheet and it can help us calculate like savings and stuff like that. But it can be applied to any data really. The important piece is knowing that the code exists and then thinking through yourself how you might apply an agent to some data that you want to work with. It's not so much about the use case. Although if you want to build yourself a personal savings agent, then for sure do so. With all that said, I should say that this is highly likely to go wrong and we won't nail it first time. So there'll probably be some evals involved here. We might have to go through a couple of loops of kind of iterating with the prompt writing agent that I'm going to use. Depending on how long that takes, we'll have some time for Q&A afterwards. So I'll share my screen and show you, let's share that entire screen, this one. This is the spreadsheet that we're working with. It's just full of example data. And we're using Buzz Comewell, who's our example employee when we do demos like this. So we've got a column here for a monthly example of what his income is at the top, and then a bunch of different expenses with some savings and debts down here, opening and closing cash balance, and then opening balance for the next month. So the first month is an example. August and September are made up actuals, and there's some fluctuation between the two. So what I'm going to do first of all in Autohive, I've got a workspace here called Data Analysis Agent. I'm going to browse agents and get the prompt writer first. Prompt writer specializes in writing system instructions. There's another agent that you can pair with prompt writer, or that already is paired with prompt writer, I guess, called use case brainstormer, this one. I'm not going to use this one today, but so it's just put prompt writer in my workspace again, even though I already have it, which we should fix. But use case brainstormer is useful either when you have a use case, then you want to flesh out your project a bit more before you get the system instructions from the prompt writer. Or if you don't have a clear way to start, you can start with use case brainstormer and it'll start asking you questions to help you extract use cases. And once you've got to a brief for something you're going to build, use case brainstormer can use the prompt writer as a tool to get the system instructions for you. I'm going to skip use case brainstormer for now, and I'm just going to use the prompt writer, and I'm going to prompt it with my voice on the agent that we want it to build, and we'll see how it goes. Okay, I want to build an agent that will help me save money. I know that my expenses don't equal my income, so there's a surplus there that I want to start putting away. I want to provide a spreadsheet of expenses, and I want this agent to help me decide exactly how much can I afford to save. And importantly, it's capable of calculating return on money that I do save based on interest rates, for example. I'd like to be able to discuss investment strategy with the agent. The agent must use the code analysis tool in Autohive in order to do data analysis. It should never attempt to do any maths or data analysis any other way. It must always use the code analysis tool. It must also show me in the conversation the Python that it used or executed in order to respond with the analysis that it provides. And before we get to actually writing these instructions, I'd like you to provide me a description of the spreadsheet that I will give you a screenshot of, so that we can write an accurate description of the sheet into the instructions. Cool. So that's just going to transcribe what I've said. That's quite a comprehensive prompt, and if you don't prompt to that level, ideally prompt writer and or use case brainstormer would extract quite a lot of that information out of you by asking the right questions. I said that I would provide it a screenshot of the spreadsheet. I'm doing that because I don't want this to take us the next 3 hours to get this thing working. It still might, and we will hang up at 12:30 regardless. But I'll grab a screenshot and give it to it, and then I'm going to ask it to describe what it sees. I suspect it won't figure out that the first month is an example, for example. And if we went with that without clarifying, then it's going to trip itself up. Oh, that was on desktop. Cool. So we might get some, it might ask some clarifying questions here. It probably will. At the moment, this prompt writing agent is running, I think, on Gemini 2.5 Pro. I am testing it on the new Claude model as well. If that all goes well, then it might roll out as an update with the new model. But there's also potentially Gemini 3 coming, so we might hold off rather than updating it twice in potentially sort of 10 days. Let's see. Okay, so it's giving me a description. Rules for monthly income and other income sources, a total income. Good that it's seeing the categories. See over here, we've got home, vehicle, subscriptions. I wasn't sure if it would actually see that, but it looks like it is. Tracks payments, balances, summary, columns, main category for headings, specific line item, descriptions, monthly. It has actually noticed that it's an example. That's cool. Great. Okay. Okay. That is an accurate description of the spreadsheet. So if you could go ahead and write the system instructions based on all of the requirements in my first message, that would be great. This prompt writer is also trained to provide it sometimes provides like auxiliary documents, like an example conversation and a usage guide, and it can create those and then add them to the content area up here so that you can apply them to the agent as its own knowledge base, so that it has good references in terms of how it should interact. Sometimes that's useful, sometimes it's not. You can end up with a bit of a cluttered content area if you don't clean those out when you don't want them or need them. So it's writing some instructions, pretty comprehensive ones compared to what we would probably write for ourselves. So it is doing this sample conversation thing. Cool. Okay, so I'm just going to grab this bit up here, these system instructions, and we're going to create a new agent, and let's say buzzes budget buddy. For this to give us the best chance of it nailing it, I'm going to go frontier and go biggest or best model available. I think I'll turn temperature down probably even further to 0.1. Temperature controls creativity. For a data analysis task, even running it at 0 wouldn't do us any harm. I'm going to leave it at 0.1. But you would probably play around with this in the process of evaluating and getting this agent to do what you want it to do. I'll just chuck in that. So in order for it to find the spreadsheet and get the data, it needs the Google Drive tool, so it can search through files. So we'll add that. And it also needs the Sheets tool, which is that one. And the final piece of the puzzle, which I mentioned, is this one over here, code analysis, an integration that executes arbitrary Python code, potentially using input files. So we'll add that one. That one doesn't need any authentication, but we do need to authenticate Google Drive and Google Sheets. So we'll do that. Okay, I'm going to turn off workspace content access because there's nothing in there that I need it to reference. And if it starts to look there, it might just confuse itself. I will leave on full web search access, although this might be something that you play with. For example, here, when we start talking about savings, I might ask it, okay, what's the current interest rate for an ANZ super saver? And it'll go and get it, and it can't do that if you untick that box. So let's just say Or did I give it a description? No, I didn't. Okay. Okay, so we built the agent. I don't think I gave it an exact name of the spreadsheet. So I'm just going to give it that now. Buzz's budget 25, 26. Okay, could you use your Drive and Sheets tools, please, to go and find the spreadsheet called Buzz's budget 25, 26? Just put a little forward slash in there. Sometimes they get quite particular about exact names, and it might say to me, I can't find it if I put a dash in there instead of a forward slash, for example. So the first step is making sure it's using the tools correctly to list. It will list the Drive files and find the one we're looking for. Then we'll start asking it to reference data in there and see how we go. Cool. So far, so good. Great. Okay. So let's give it a little test first. Okay. How much did I spend on power and internet, rent, and fuel for the month of August, please? So let's have a quick look. Month of August, rent, power and internet, fuel, 1195.33 is what we're looking for. Cool. Okay, that was a lot quicker and a lot more successful than I thought it was going to be. Sometimes it hallucinates a little bit and doesn't get to where we want it straight away, but it has correctly calculated that. So obviously that's like relatively simple stuff so far. But once you train something like this on a specific sheet, or you could try to train something a bit more generic where it can reference any sheet, then you can start pulling multiple files together, talking to them both in the thread. Because they can write to sheets as well, they could create a third document for you that combines stuff from more than one place, for example. I'll give it another prompt and we'll see if it can get any more advanced. Let's see. Okay, please take a look at the actuals data for the months of August and September. Those are the only 2 months that we have full data for, and compare those against the example month data. What do you see in terms of trends, and where could I manage my money better? So it's cool that in the first run, whilst it's running through that one, I'll talk to this. It's outputting the Python that it used to get there, which can be helpful if you can easily see and understand the data that it's using, rather than it just returning that number, or it's even more complicated when it returns the wrong number and you have to try and figure out where it went wrong. So asking it to show it's working in the thread like that sometimes helps you unpack where it's going wrong. And when I tested this yesterday, it was using that example column as the July month, I think, because it was assuming that was the month before August, even though it was labeled example. And then it started to do all the wrong calculations. So seeing the calculations in the thread like this is really helpful, really useful. You spent $206 less than budgeted in August. So let's have a look. 206. Yeah, that looks about right. So it's starting to show us some useful stuff here now. Having given it a little bit of an open-ended prompt to ask for trends and what can I do better. It's also showing us what it did and where it found everything. Depending on the stakes here, you would want to go through this really carefully, obviously. Alternatively, if you trust it and you don't want to read or don't understand the Python, then you can just leave it out and you could do your proofing separately, right? For a while to make sure that you can trust the agent first. So I'll just give it one more prompt and we'll see how it does with this one. Okay, looking at the opening and closing balances, it looks as though I could save about 1,500 a month. Let's say that the interest rate of the account that I save in is 2%, and that interest is paid each month. How much will I have on top of my $18,000 that I invest at the end of 1 year on top in interest? I probably should have written down the answer to this. I don't think I've got the answer to this one. Maybe I'll see if I can find a interest calculator. Let's have a look. Here we go. $1,500, 0. Oh, whoops. Contribute at the beginning of each month, interest rate 2%, compound monthly. Take that out and see. Oh. Okay, 226. I'm not actually sure that I've filled in that interest calculator accurately, but let's see where we get to. Oh, there's the answer up here. Whilst 196 might seem modest. Okay, so it's a bit off, but potentially here it's compounded in a year instead of each month. Did you add the interest to the balance before calculating? And again, it could also be because I haven't filled out that interest calculator properly. Beware of this as well. This sort of sycophantic response. They'll often say you're absolutely right, whether you're right or not. So you've got to be a bit careful with that. Cool. Okay. So it says 196. So potentially there's a discrepancy here in how this is. Maybe if I change that to the end of the month, for example, that number might change a wee bit. But I won't push it any harder for now. I'll leave it there. And as I say, the key takeaway for this is not so much this use case; it's the ability to use that Python tool with an agent, and then point it at specific spreadsheets that you can go make it get from Drive, for example. So if those sheets change often, it's not a static data source. It can just it can reference it so that you can keep it up to date.